When William Earl Savage took on the responsibility of overseeing business affairs at Asbury Theological Seminary in 1946, he was also continuing a family legacy of Christian commitment and service. Years before, it was Savage's father, Earl, who helped save both Asbury College and the seminary during the Depression, working with creditors and personally carrying the school's debt to ensure their survival. Savage was also highly influenced by his grandfathers, both of whom were pastors. In fact, both actually served at Wilmore United Methodist Church at different points during their ministries and were active in the life of Asbury. With so many ties to Wilmore, it wasn't surprising that Savage began his college career at Asbury. Yet he soon began to yearn for something different. By his sophomore year, he made the decision to transfer to nearby Transylvania University. But the Asbury connections were strong. By the next year, he returned to the institution his father had worked so diligently to save. Back at Asbury, he met a young woman from Pennsylvania by the name of Dorothy Doricott. Following his graduation from Asbury, the young couple married in December of 1939. Their married life began in Florida, where Savage went to work with his father, who by this time had established a college designed to help young men and women who otherwise could not afford higher education. At Pineland College, Savage served as his father's vice president and right-hand man, managing the business affairs of the school. Sadly, however, Savage's father died only a few short years later, and along with him died his dreams for Pineland. The school was eventually forced to close, and a discouraged Savage returned to Kentucky to search for a job. Things began to look brighter when he was hired to manage the business affairs at Kentucky Wesleyan College in Winchester. He'd been there about 2 years when he was approached about serving on the board of trustees at Asbury Theological Seminary. Not long after, he was asked to join the seminary staff as business manager. The years that followed were a time of tremendous growth at Asbury. In the 30 years during which Savage presided over the institution's business affairs, the school grew from one building, 144 students, and a budget of $60,000 to a campus with 18 major buildings, nearly 600 students, and endowments worth $5 million. During his time at Asbury, he and Dorothy were also busy raising their 3 children: a son, William Earl II, and daughters, Sue Ann and Carolyn. Home for the Savages was a beautiful historic structure built in the 1880s by a member of Mary Todd Lincoln's family. The Savages moved into the home in 1959 and continued the tradition of Southern hospitality, opening their doors to faculty and students alike. Though Savage retired from the seminary in 1976, the years since have hardly been quiet ones. 6 summers were spent conducting student tours of Europe. In 1982, he came out of retirement to accept the position as president of First Federal Savings and Loan in Lexington, where he had served on the board of directors since 1960. The Savage name was a familiar one at First Federal. His father was one of the 10 original depositors of the bank and had served as its first president. In 1985, Savage stepped down as president, but remained as vice chairman of the board and played an active role on the investment committee. And though he retired as vice chairman in 2000, he still retains a seat on the bank's board of directors. Savage has also been highly active at Park United Methodist Church in Lexington and served on numerous committees and boards with the United Methodist Church and area hospitals. In 1995, he was honored with an honorary doctorate from Asbury Theological Seminary. God endows His people with many different abilities and talents, and Bill Savage has been faithful to use his extensive knowledge of business and finance to further the work of the Lord. His many contributions have been a worthy addition to his family's legacy of service and will continue to be appreciated for years to come. We are honored to present to you tonight Dr. William E. Savage, a 2002 recipient of the Heroes, Saints, and Legends Award.